Take care of your words because they become actions. Take care of your actions because they become habits. If you have the habit of doing something evil to people, then it will no more grow. And not only will they grow, they'll be personally justified, even if we consider them to be wrong. You know, and we see that many times. We see that in our politics, that people have decided that, you know, truth no longer is an importance, you know, and it means short-term gain, but long-term problems that arise, you know. So again, here we are, take care of your actions because they become habit. Understand what you do. Understand what you do in terms of consequences. If you are riding in your car and somebody cuts you off on your car, right? They cut you off in traffic, and your natural reaction is to say something foul to that person. Well, what happens is that if you say it once, from one comes two, from two comes three. And what happens is that then a pattern starts to grow. So the idea of the practice is the elimination also of the bad habits that have caused habits that are brought about with not fully contemplating the results. So in this particular practice, you're also at the time of doing or engaging in whatever you're doing is the idea that you come and you think about it. Well, what are the consequences? You know, if I take this gun and I shoot that person, what are the consequences? And you see a lot of times people don't even, in fact, they even go and they try to justify until their conscience overrides that justification. Take care of your habits because they form our character. If your habits start to make people see, or you start to look in relationship to what your habits are. So even physically, sometimes you can see. And that people who have less than stellar character, that, you know, you can see sometimes that they carry their burden on their face. They carry their burden in the way that they walk, they speak, right? This is important. This falls back also to, we can use this in terms of meditation on compassion. You know, compassion doesn't mean you're jumping out and cutting off your hands and giving it to somebody. Compassion is as what do you call it, as small as somebody's walking in front of you and you open the door and you allow them to go in before you. Or you are at a Dunkin' Donuts and you pay for the car behind you, right? These are forms of compassion. Other people would not see it compassion, but internally, nobody can say to you, nobody can dictate to you what your actions are as compassionate or incompassionate or not compassionate. Compassion falls into two classifications. One is wrathful and the other is peaceful. We see it in the deities. We see something like Droma is peaceful. We see something like Yamataka as being wrathful. You know, oh, they're wrathful, so they don't have any compassion. Well, it's a Buddha, right? So there must be some compassion there. You know, so don't allow anybody to characterize your actions. That's your decision, right? That's your decision. You are only there to answer to yourself in relationship to the template that you believe in. If you're a Buddhist, then the template are the doctrines of what the Buddha has taught. If you are, you know, anything else, whatever that template is that what you, if you're Christian, then you know. It's very interesting. I had a talk with this person the other day, and we were talking about the Bible because they're Christian and they like it. And I was saying to them, I said, don't you know the difference between, I said, everybody in your church seems to be, quoting the Old Testament. I said, but don't you understand that there's a difference between the Old Testament and the New Testament? And he said, well, what is it? I said, well, in the Old Testament, the foundation and basis of it is an eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth. Whereas the New Testament is turn the other cheek. You know, I believe just as Buddha himself looked at the Vedas and rejected the Vedas, that in the same term that when Christ came about and interpreted his sermons, he rejected the portions of the Old Testament, which meant, you know, an eye for an eye. And he preached the idea of compassion and turn the other cheek. So if you ever get into a discussion with a Christian or somebody who is, you know, who is non-Buddhist, sometimes understanding what they're saying, I don't say take a lot of time. We have so much time to study what we do. You know, we have to take a lot of time, but this is, you know, an example. The world is formulated, right, from our projections, right? We change the world based upon how we think, right? We can either be overpowered by the world in what they demand, or we overpower the world in terms of how we wish the world to be, right? One is equivalent to being a sheep, and the other is in terms of being in a position of leadership, right? Leadership means is not because you're bigger and stronger or anything like that. It all has to do with your mental attitude and the direction that you want to carry. And you see a lot of times, it doesn't necessarily mean that the person has to be within the terms of, you know, like a bodhisattva or whatnot. It's the strength of their conviction that changes the world, right? So that you have a person who believes more in their own personal projection as opposed to what other people have told them. And this is what SICGU is talking about, because SICGU doesn't say anything about being a Buddhist, about being a non-Buddhist, you know, or anything. It's just saying that, you know, this is the art. Understand the art. Draw your own picture. You know, whatever suits you, draw your own picture. So it takes character. Destiny will become your life. Take care of your character, because it will form your destiny, and destiny becomes your life. So destiny begins with what we're doing right now. You know, this idea, I'm not saying live in the here and now. I have no idea what that means. You know, I'm saying right now at this particular time, we're projecting in the direction of the future that we want to be able to experience, is what I'm talking about. Here and now, I have no idea. That's New Age. We're not New Age. I never will ever be New Age. I don't know what they mean by that. There is no religion higher than the truth. Understand that well. Truth is a foundation that we're looking for. There's no religion greater than truth.